Hello, I'm Harvey Koeppel, the Executive Director of the Center for CIO Leadership. Welcome to CIO Perspectives, focusing on key topics for CIOs. In this installment, we'll be talking about the function of risk management. Joining me are my guests Jeanette Horan, CIO of IBM, Peter Whatnell, CIO of Sunoco, and Ron Bergmann, Vice President for Information Technology and CIO at Lehman College, City University of New York. Thank you all for joining. One of the things that's become very clear is the whole function and role around risk management is no longer perceived as just an IT issue, but really an enterprise-wide, a cultural issue, if you will. So can you talk for a minute or two about what your company is doing, Peter, in this whole area of how we would characterize managing risk as opposed to avoiding risk? And equally important, perhaps from your position as a CIO, what are the things that you're working on proactively to really ensure that the enterprise is appropriately focused and managing its risk to maximum business opportunity?
Well, this is a question where I'm very keen to see the blog responses from your viewers, because I don't have a trite and easy answer to this, because this is something that we wrestle with ourselves. So the different facets of this is, when we work with our business partners, they are very comfortable and completely understand risk when it comes to a business venture, but they want absolute certainty when it comes to the solutions from IT. On the one hand, they understand risk and know how to be managed. On the other hand, they're not interested in risk understanding and built into the solution at all. They want absolute certainty, and we have a gap there we're still trying to close. On the IT side, a lot of staff, again, they have this sort of different views. So when we're preparing project plans, the project managers understand risk, but they're apprehensive. They don't want to do the wrong thing, and the easiest way to not do the wrong thing is to not stretch yourself when you're providing a solution. What we're not good at is getting people to look for a stretch solution in the first place that has an element of failure built into it if we really want the large reward.
So that would be the business opportunity side.
And the technical solution side, sure. Where, so even simple things like going with a tried and trusted vendor who may be slightly staid and not so quick to market with a limited sort of functional set or not a track record of bringing new innovation to their product, where the two guys in the garage with a startup company that hits all of those checkboxes but didn't exist 3 years ago.
And two guys in a garage.
Exactly. Yeah. So, there's all these things to wrestle with, and I would love to hear the other responses.
Sure. Jeanette, true or false, there is a silver lining in this dark cloud called risk management?
It's I think I will agree with Peter, is very much an evolving area right now, and I think we're all learning as we go. Within IBM, we do have a fairly formal enterprise risk management approach and methodology to look at all sorts of projects, not just IT projects, that really does assess all elements of risk, whether it's kind of the business strategy, such as Peter spoke about, and potential failure, kind of entering new markets, but also looking at other geopolitical factors, for example, or pure technology risk factors. So it tends to look at things fairly broadly. Within my world right now, though, the biggest issue around risk is really all of the sort of cyber attacks. We certainly are not immune to all of those threats. So my challenge today is to really look at how do I enable our employees to do what they need to do, but to do it in a secure way. And so I'm developing a strategy right now which looks at the elements of that. One of them clearly is a technology part of the answer, right? What can we do to make sure that we have all of the appropriate technology deployed to defend against any attacks? The second area is around policy, and the attacks that come via social media sites these days are ones that we really need to make sure that our employees are aware of the risks that come with using those sites, but don't make them so risk averse that they don't use them appropriately for the course of the business.
Sure.
And so that, to me, right now, is probably the biggest issue that we all need to focus on.
So it sounds like we're almost at a tipping point or an inflection point here in terms of the cultural aspect.
I think so. Yeah, yes. And
people are aware and manage themselves, really.
Exactly, yes, that they don't sort of do things that will introduce additional risk. And as I say, we can do a certain number of things with technology to sort of prevent people doing
Yes.
things that are going to put themselves at risk. But at the end of the day, they have to be aware as well.
All the great things that you do won't help when you share your password.
Exactly.
So Ron, city university system, dealing with students, I would imagine many of whom would be interested in getting into places that they don't necessarily or shouldn't necessarily be getting into.
Indeed.
Please do share.
Well, you know, colleges and universities are the place where all these wonderful new tools really start, right?
Budding young consultants.
One of the issues on campuses today is around the protection of personally identifiable data, something that happens too frequently, I think, across the country in terms of the loss of data. And one of the things that we're doing is trying to turn this risk into an opportunity by doing more with process improvement, automating processes that were in the past manual, so that the risk of losing this data is mitigated. In so doing, we're also speeding up business processes that would take weeks in the past, now take days.
So the opportunity to automate a previously manual procedure, for example, is really being justified from a business perspective by needing to deal with some of these new risks that heretofore perhaps you wouldn't have gotten funding for, would not have been a priority.
Right. In fact, the ROI on that is fantastic, so we're very pleased.
Wonderful. Well, I'd like to thank you, our panelists, for your great thoughts and insights. Thank you, our viewers, for watching, and please be sure to join us next time.